So now let us discuss in detail regarding the importance of the universal law of gravitation. So here we go with the importance. So let us go one after the other. First point, children. As we know that if you consider the surface of the earth, so the objects that belongs to earth are called as terrestrial bodies. So these terrestrial bodies will not fly away from the earth, the chair, the table, us, whoever, whatever the bodies you consider. So these bodies are binded because of the gravitational pull of the earth. Okay, children. So what is the first importance of the universal law of gravitation means? So the gravitational force of attraction of the earth, the gravitational force of attraction of the earth binds all the terrestrial bodies towards it. So this is the main the gravitational force of earth is responsible for binding all the terrestrial bodies on the surface of the earth. So towards the earth. So what is that first point, children? Binding all terrestrial bodies. Responsible for. So what is that, children? The gravitational force of attraction of the earth, the gravitational force of attraction of the earth is responsible for binding all the terrestrial bodies on the earth. So now the second point, you know that around the earth's surface we have the atmosphere. So this gravitational force of earth is responsible in holding the atmosphere towards it. If no gravitational force between the atmosphere and the earth means there won't be any atmosphere throughout us. So why does this atmosphere is surrounded by the earth means because of the gravitational force of attraction between the atmosphere and the earth. So the gravitational force of attraction between the atmosphere and surface of the earth, it holds it. This force is responsible in holding the atmosphere on the surface of the earth. So first point, in binding all the terrestrial bodies, we are not flying away, we belong to the surface of the earth. Our presence on the earth is only because of this gravitational force. The presence of atmosphere around the surface of the earth is only because of the gravitational force of the earth on these bodies. Terrestrial means something that is related to the earth, earthly bodies. Now, the third point, so we often observe that whenever the season changes, in our regions we feel that rainfall may happen, and in colder regions the snowfall will observe. Okay, the rainfall and snowfall, the gravitational force of the earth is the responsible for the snowfall and rainfall on the earth. So this force is also responsible for rainfall and snowfall. Because of this force only, these rainfalls and snowfalls are being observed. Okay. Not only this, children, so you always observe that we observe the water flow in the rivers. The water flow in the rivers is also due to the gravitational force of attraction of the earth. So what is the next one, children? So the flow of water in rivers. If no gravitational force between the earth and the water means there won't be any river flow is being observed. So this gravitational force of earth is responsible for the flow of water in the river. And now we observe that the moon revolves around the earth. in some circular orbit. So what makes it to revolve in that orbit? It's all because the gravitational force of attraction between the moon and the earth is responsible for moon to revolve round the earth in circular orbit. Not only this, even all the satellites also revolve round the artificial satellites also revolve round the earth due to this gravitational force between the earth and satellites. Whether you consider the revolution of moon or the revolution of satellites around the earth is all due to the gravitational force of attraction between our planet Earth and the moon and those artificial satellites. Okay, children. So, this only explains the reason of the gravitational force of attraction between this Earth and those satellites, natural satellites, moon and all, is responsible in the detailed explanation of the lunar eclipse. The predictions regarding the lunar eclipse and solar eclipse is also based on this law. Okay. So now moving to the next point, children, 6th. All planets revolve round the sun. We observe that all planets revolve round the sun. Why? Because of the gravitational force between the planets and the sun. So, the gravitational force between the planets and the sun is responsible for the revolution of planets around the sun, and hence the existence of your solar system. The solar system exists only because of the gravitational force of attraction between all the planets as well as the sun. Okay, so this is your next point. All planets revolve around the sun gravitational force between sun and also this is the main cause for existence of our solar system. Okay, children. So, these are the main points. Not only this, children, we also observe that tides. If you go look at the ocean, tides are being observed. So, what is the main reason for the tides that are formed in the oceans? It's all because of the gravitational force of attraction between the moon and the tides in the ocean. So, the gravitational force between the moon and the water in the ocean is the major cause of formation of tides in oceans. Tides are formed in oceans due to gravitational force of attraction between moon and water in the sea. Okay, children. Well, so now moving to the next point. This gravitational force only decides whether a planet is having a satellite or not. For example, if you observe the planets like Mercury and Venus, they don't have any moon. Why? Because the gravitational force, those masses are very less. The mass of Mercury or Venus is very small. As a result, the gravitational force, which is a product of masses of the bodies and inversely divided by the square of the distance between them. So, as the reason for this on Mercury and as well as Venus, the gravitational force is very small. So because less or very weak gravitational force, there won't be any attraction between the planets, the satellites as well as these small planets, small massive planets like Mercury and Venus. So because of the less value of gravitational force that is present on Mercury or Venus, we do not observe any satellites like Moon on these surfaces. No satellites are present on the Moon, Mercury as well as your Venus because of the least value of gravitational force. So absence of Moon, absence of satellites. Like Moon. So Earth have Moon like similarly on Mercury and Venus have no satellites. Okay. So absence of satellites on Mercury and Venus because of small gravitational force. And children, we stay on Earth. What makes us to stay on the Earth? Because of the gravitational force between the Earth and us makes us to stay on the Earth. So we stay on Earth. Gravitational force between us and Earth. Okay, children. I hope all the points are clear. Okay. So now let us recall all the points once again. So what are the main points? Importance of the universal law of gravitation. So it is responsible in binding all the terrestrial bodies on its surface and responsible in holding the atmosphere, responsible for the rainfall and snowfall on the earth and flow of water in the river, a revolution of moons or artificial satellites around the earth, and all planets revolve around the earth, and hence the existence of solar system is also due to the gravitational force between these two bodies, and tides are formed in oceans due to the gravitational force of attraction between the moon and water. Absence of satellites on Mercury and Venus is being observed due to the less amount of gravitational force on these planets, and we stay on the earth because of the gravitational force between us and the surface of the earth. Okay, children. So with this, let us conclude the main basic concepts of the universal law of gravitation. So now let us move to the worksheet based on these concepts. Okay, children.